Um, I figured I would just tell you guys a little bit about who I am and what I do, and then just let you guys ask questions because I feel like if I told you about the books, I'd be a little bit, preaching to the choir. I think you guys all know what the books are. So my name is Erica. I'm the editor of the series. So basically, what that means is, so there are 6 Erin Hunters, and the Erin Hunters, through a process we storyline the various books, we write the books. Basically, I look at every stage from the initial brainstorm to the manuscript. So first, when we're starting, one of the 6-book arcs of Warriors or Survivors or Seekers, I hop on the phone with one of the Arians and we kind of talk about what's going to happen and, what cat it's going to focus on, if there's going to be a big prophecy, if there's going to be a big battle, and we kind of go back and forth with any ideas, and then the Arin will kind of go away and write up a pretty brief outline that will cover all 6 books, and they send it to me. And I look at it and I mostly just decide if it's enough for 6 books, if it's going to be exciting enough, if it feels different enough from what's come in the past. And I ask any questions. And then I send it back, and an Erin will write sort of what ends up being about a 60-page storyline for a single book, which is like really intense, chapter by chapter, everything that will happen, every conversation, every journey, everything, and send it to me, and I kind of look it over, and I just ask any questions like, does this conversation make sense? Is this going to be exciting enough? Should we rethink this scene? Should we put in more action? Should we jump to a different part here? Just sort of making sure that everything is working as well as it can. And also there to kind of bounce off any questions. Like sometimes there will be a question within the storyline, like, oh, do you feel like this is exciting enough, or like this makes sense here, and I'll kind of respond as like a fresh eye who's reviewing it. And then I send it back, and a different Erin actually writes the entire book, so it goes from being kind of a 2-page outline that covers 6 books to a 60-page outline that covers 1 book to then about a 250-page book. And then I look at it again, and obviously I know what's going to happen because I've read the storyline, but I'm kind of there to weigh in on any dialogue, to make sure that everything feels natural, to make sure that everything is working and is exciting and is fun. Sometimes when we go through the storyline stage, I'll sort of come upon the scene and I'll say something like, I feel like this isn't quite working. This part isn't quite working. Can we rethink? Can we change it? And sometimes the Erin who's written it will say, you know what? I totally see why you're saying that, and okay, yeah, let's change it. And sometimes they'll say, well, I really like this. Let me try this. Let me put that in the book. And I'm always like, great, if you feel strongly, like, sure, my concerns, and just like, have them in mind when it's being written. And sometimes then when I read the book, either I'll say, oh my God, you were totally right. I'm so happy that you made this, that you said that we should keep this in. Or I'll say, I still have the same concerns, and then we'll kind of go back and forth some more. So basically, I see every stage of the story and of the manuscript of every single book. I work with all the Erins. I am there to talk about any ideas for any future books. I'm involved in all 3 series. It's a lot to keep straight in my brain, which can be a little tough, but so far it's all got its place in there. And I've been working on Warriors for about 10 years now, which has been a long time. And I've worked with every book that's come since then. I was not the first Warriors editor. The first Warriors editor was actually Tui Sutherland. And if you guys are familiar with the Warriors books and the Seekers books, you'll know that Tui then became one of the Erins. She wrote a bunch of the Seekers books, and she also wrote the Warriors Field Guide. So she was actually the first editor, and then she became an Erin, and then I kind of soon thereafter took over. So anyway, that's kind of my spiel of what I do and how I'm involved. Right now, we're in Dawn of the Clans, which is the prequel arc, which has been really fun because we've just kind of been figuring out how the clans came to be and making up stories that aren't necessarily bound by the rules of the clans that we had laid out for so long, and thinking brand new characters and brand new battles, brand new tensions. So that's been a lot of fun. And then we've just started working on the next series, which will happen after Dawn of the Clans, and after there's another super edition coming called Mothflight's Vision, which is going to be about the first medicine cat, and where you'll actually see how the leaders decided to get their first, how the leaders came to have 9 lives from StarClan. So that's so it's going to be Dawn of the Clans is going to finish, and then we're going to have Mothflight's Vision, and then we're going to start a new 6-book arc. I don't really have, we've just started talking about it. We've just started talking about what it's really going to be about, but it's going to take place after Bramblestar's Storm. So it's going to go back to the present and back to the clans that you kind of followed through the first 4 arcs. But we are just at the beginning stages of that, which is really, really exciting, but we've only just started to talk about it. So I can't, it's not even like I'm withholding information. It's literally that we don't actually know any of the details. But anyway, I would love to take any questions from you guys or any points of conversation. You with the spider.
Was Mothlight one of the cats that gave Heatherstar one of her lives in the prophecy?
Did Mothlight give one of Heatherstar one of the? I can't remember off the top of my head.
Like the prophecy that Tallstar would lead the clan, but maybe come back.
Probably. So Mothlight was the first official medicine cat, because we've met a few of the other ones who were going to be medicine cats. And Mothlight, in the Dawn of the Clans books, is still just a kit. She's Windrunner's kit. And you are probably right, but I will say I promise I have a really, really good memory for many things, but some things I forget. but I bet you're right, because she ends up being incredibly important. And I have to say, I love all of the super editions. Mothflight's Vision she's such a good character. She's so cool and so interesting, and seeing her really figure out what a medicine cat should be and how the medicine cats should work, and then she's very, very involved in figuring out how the leaders should and why they should have 9 lives. Like, it is so cool, and it just came out really, really, really well. So I feel like you guys are really gonna love it. Yeah.
Are you gonna make a super edition book about Jayfeather?
A super edition book about Jayfeather? Not at the moment. I don't know. I am being honest when I tell you that's never come up. Partially because I feel like we've done a lot of we focus the super editions obviously on kind of the backstories of the leaders or the other clans where like you really don't know what has happened, and I feel like with Jayfeather we know so much, like we know his whole childhood, we know his whole kidhood, we know everything that's happened. So I feel like a super edition, it would have to be something like Firestar's Quest, where he goes off and does something away from the clan. So it's a really interesting idea, and definitely not out of the realm of possibility, but it is not something we have talked about yet. Yeah.
Do you know what the name of the 6th Dawn of the Clans book is yet?
The 6th Dawn of the Clans book is Path of Stars.
Okay.
The 5th is, hold on a second. I'm totally blanking on it. Although I'm sure it's online now, because it's coming out pretty soon. And it's a little sad that I can't remember. It's my full brain. Yeah?
Are these things that say the list of the leaders, in Shadow Clan they forgot Caesar Star.
So that book we made a good few years ago. So I think we weren't at all exhaustive, meaning we didn't ever think that when we were making the list of leaders that went in that book that it was going to be every single leader ever. But you also have to think that we did that book a good few years ago.
Yeah, before Laufeyson.
Yeah, so I feel like it was sort of, as we have written the various novels and the various super editions, that's when we've really filled things in sort of the way of, like, I'm sure that if we had done that book after we had done Yellowfing's Secret, or even after we had done Tall Star's Revenge, I think that was even before Crooked Star's Promise, actually, that we were working on that. So it was a while ago. So I feel like we never meant for it to be a complete list, but we also, I think probably at that point, even if you had said to us, will there be a leader named Cedar Star, we would have said, oh, maybe, you know, because some of the stuff just comes as we are working on the stories themselves. Yeah.
What happened to Breezepelt after the Last Hope? Did he get driven off? Wait,
which cat?
Breezepelt?
Oh, Breezepelt. No, he's still there.
He is?
I think he's still there, isn't he? Am I remembering this wrong? He was
part
Yeah.
of the Dark Forest.
I know, but I don't know. I don't think we've explored that yet, although we will in the next arc. He did stay, yeah, he was bad. He stayed fighting for them. I don't know, but I can't imagine, I could sort of see him trying to fight that, like, no, I still belong with you, I'm still a good cat. I mean, I was never a big Breezepelt fan, so I'd be fine with him, like, getting out of there, but I don't think that we ever specifically said. And he didn't die in that battle, did he?
No, he didn't.
Yeah. I mean, let's assume that he's not in the clans anymore. Although I really wouldn't put it past him to, like, worm his way back in. But yeah. Sometimes we don't, you know, obviously we don't specify what happened to every specific cat, so we definitely count on you guys to, like, seed the rest of the story with your imagination, which is probably a lot of fun. Yeah?
Why is it in that Yellowfing's Secret or some doesn't they say that ShadowClan has pine forest, but in the old territory it actually had marshes?
And yeah, marshes. It's kind of, think of it as sort of overlapping a little, but also as time has gone on, I feel like some of the ways in which we have described the different territories will sort of change slightly as we move on. We'll think of different words to describe things. We'll think of different details to pull out about the various territories. But it's kind of all the same type of plants and the same type of world. Shadow Clan still lives in kind of shadowy, boggy territory. And actually, what I love in Dawn of the Clans, in number 4, which is the one that just came out, Tall Shadow has finally expressed her sort of interest in the marshland. Like, that's I think in number 4 is the first time that she kind of says out loud that she doesn't really love living on the moor, that she would like to live in the marshland, which of course is where Shadow Clan ends up being.
So she might be the new Shadow Star?
I mean, her name is Tall Shadow.
Oh yeah, good point.
So the chances are very, very good. But yeah. She is going to soon going to make her move into that new territory. It's been really cool actually doing Dawn of the Clans and trying to work out which cats would like which area and making it, you know, making sure that we have enough cats going into the different areas. Yeah.